try to start the engine.
With their mentor Alberto, as well as with Hiroshi Aoyama, the MotoGP rider, helping the youngsters get to grips with their Honda NSR 250 on those Bridgestone tyres. From Chang it was Nakarin and Tsubaru from Thailand who took the early lead in race 1, with the likes of Kazuki Masaki from Japan and Jefferson from India mixing things up in the leading group. Were ultimately decided on the last lap. It was local boy Songkiat Chantra who timed it exactly right in the last corner to out-drag Ayumu Sasaki and Salim to take the first win of the season. In race 2 it was poleman Malay Asman who got away best. Was soon hunted down by a group led by Atirat Pumapat for a 10-rider group to fight it up for the win. Lap 13 proved key when race 1 winner Chantra fell, taking Malayan Adam Norodin with him, whose Japanese rider Takuma Kinime, who then took the lead, was ultimately passed by race winner Atirat Pumapat, second place Sasaki and third place Masaki.
So it's a very good afternoon to you from the Losail International Circuit here in Qatar. It's round 2 of the Shell Advanced Asian Talent Cup. And races 3, that's today, and 4 tomorrow. Perfect conditions, some tremendous qualifying. 21 riders, unfortunately, not 22 riders on the grid. And we're ready for battle to commence. Good afternoon to you, I'm Nick Harris. And sitting alongside me, Dylan Gray.
Well, as you can see, the umbrellas out there, we talk about ideal conditions, but they are also going to be very, very hot conditions for those youngsters. As we saw, 28 degrees ambient temperature. It's going to be good for the track, good for the tyres, but in those leathers, they are going to be sweating, Nick.
They certainly are. The one rider, unfortunately, that is going to miss out is the Australian Lachlan Taylor. He crashed and fractured the fourth finger on his left hand, and he has been ruled out of both races here in round 2. Hopefully he will be back in action when we get to round 3.
That's just so tough trying to use the clutch when your fingers aren't working completely. So you can fully understand why the young Australian isn't lining up on the grid.
This will be a real test for them. This is, well, a very special MotoGP circuit. In length, we have a 5.380 metres, 3.343 miles, and in pole position, the man that brought Thailand almost to a halt last weekend, Atirat Pumapat. He won that race 2. Of course, he did crash out in race 1. He's 19 years old, and he is at the moment lying in second place in the championship.
Yes, and here we're looking at the man who qualified in second place, Japanese rider Ayumu Sasaki. Now, he actually has a championship lead. He has to defend the young Japanese rider. Obviously doing very, very well in those first couple of rounds. Be interesting to see how he's going to go, because he did win those races pretty much towards the end of the race, so you do wonder what his strategy is going to be today.
Yeah, man that leads the championship, still early days. Don't forget, this is round 2, races 3 and 4. And completing the front row of the grid for this 14-lap race is Andy Izdihar, riding the Honda, of course. He's Indonesian, he's 17 years old, and he's currently lying in 9th place in the championship. But this, Dylan, can change so much. We saw, in particular, that second race in Thailand, 10 riders chasing the lead, the race leader from the first race going down, taking somebody with him. You blink and it changes.
Well, exactly, and they're on exactly equal machinery, so it's so tough for these guys to just pull away. It's almost not possible. You can be so good. And bear in mind, just like in Chang, here we have the very, very long straight, so there's going to be an awful lot of slipstreaming. So I think turn 1 is going to be a hive of activity, and these guys are going to have to take some real care, as will this man here, Takuma Kunimine from Japan. The Japanese youngster qualified in 4th place. He was so close to getting on the front row. He missed out by 0.005 seconds. But This is his second year in the championship, so another thing is he is bringing experience with him to this race.
What really interests me as well is a terrific age range, isn't there? I mean, there's 13-year-olds racing against 19-year-olds. I mean, 6 years when you're that age, we can't remember that far back, of course. I certainly can't
Speak
remember.
for yourself, Mr. Harris.
I certainly can't remember that far back. It is an enormous age range. In the middle of that second row, Helmi Asman, the Malaysian. He's 15 years old and 7th in the championship to his stand at the moment. Yeah, it's daunting in many ways for these youngsters to suddenly come. Okay, Thailand was special, but now they are racing it at a big, famous Grand Prix venue, aren't they? And you can understand how they can get overpowered with it all.
Well, I think overwhelmed. You know, maybe just by being in the MotoGP grid as well. Obviously, you know, they were with the Superbike guys last week, so that would have been a fantastic warm-up for them. But in terms of the circuit, Nick, you're absolutely right. The Chang circuit, for many guys who maybe haven't seen it on TV, and those guys certainly have a good view from the handball stadium there. No, it certainly is a much faster and much more flowing track, and especially this man, the 18-year-old Fagrusi Rostam from Malaysia, currently 13th in the championship, 7 points. So good grid position there for him. He's going to want to make good in the race to climb that little bit higher up in those championship standings.
So safety car ready to go. There will be 5 minutes to go when they're out over the track. We now come to Somkhat Chantra. He won race 1, the Thai rider. He crashed out in race 2, and that means he missed out on, well, 25 points, you'd say. Probably it may have been a few less.
You never know going into the final.
But he lies 4th in the World Championship. So the 2 race winners from Thailand, from the race in Thailand and from the country of Thailand, one's qualified first and one has qualified in prime position on that 3rd row of the grid. The run down to turn 1, you imagine, is going to be pretty exciting.
Well, think of it this way: 3rd row is actually going to be a little bit dirtier than the inside. You know, anyone who's watching the GP racing, anything along those lines, they will see that the guys, when they're on the straight, they all pull over to the right-hand side. It's just, you know, by accelerating out of that final turn, it just pulls you over to the right. So if you're on the left, it's going to be the slightly dirtier part of the track. So you'd hope that there'll be well, obviously not sweeping the track, because we know that sort of stuff causes controversy, but they are going to have to try and get the best getaway possible.
So, exciting lap about to start for these 21-year-old youngsters from all over Asia. This is the 2nd year of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Alberto Puig's the mentor of all these riders that will be watching on, and all the advice he's given them, that test at Sepang and then in Thailand last week, will help them out. And this is their first real look race-wise at turn 1 here at the Losail International Circuit.
Well, exactly. Another thing that Alberto Puig, has been doing with these guys, an awful lot of training. We know that he's mentored these guys away from the track as well. And to me, what sounds like a brutal training regime, he's taken them cycling for, I think, over 60 kilometres. Afterwards, he then takes them to the motocross. I think these youngsters can't believe it, but that's what he's doing. He's preparing these guys for doing numerous laps on the limit, fighting it out in these hot temperatures. You know, that's what you need this fitness for. It's not just physical, it's keeping your mental composure when you get more and more tired.
That was enjoyable for Dylan and myself, is actually seeing racing here in the daylight.
Yeah.
Because everything we've seen this week so far, obviously with MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3, is under the floodlights. And actually, you've got to say, of course it's the same circuit, but it does look slightly different.
It looks narrower to me. I don't know why it looks narrower. No, but of course, you know, racing during the daytime, as we said, it's not going to change. Well, what is going to change about the track is going to be that much hotter. Now, bear in mind, anyone who watches the Moto3 class, the big difference you'll find with the Asia Talent Cup is they don't run Dunlop tyres, they run Bridgestone tyres. So a comparison with times isn't going to be, you know, you're not going to be able to compare that much. Plus, with these hotter track conditions, we know sometimes tracks, when they get very, very hot, it can actually affect tyres in a different way and make it almost a bit more slippery, make them slide around a bit more. But the good thing is they've done their free practices roughly around this time of the day. They've done their qualifying, so these conditions aren't new for them.
Yeah, basically the machinery is the same, isn't it? Obviously not so refined. The Honda NSF 250R Motor 3 machines.
Sorry, yes, NSF. Sorry, I said Honda NSR earlier on. That's of course what they ride on the road. Yeah, slight difference. Think of it as a slightly more basic Moto 3 bike. They only have one brake disc at the front, so they don't have two. So they don't have quite as much stopping power. From what I understand, they don't have a slipper clutch as well. And this really models a little bit the Red Bull rookies, because also the KTM machinery used in the Red Bull rookies, that's also a similar step down. But of course, what this does, it's not just a cost thing, but you know these guys are unfortunately going to have a few more tumbles as well. So you've got to think of the cost, but also these are the kind of bikes that are going to help them hone their riding skills.
So here we go, riders back into this long start and finish straight, well over 1,000 metres, well over half a mile. Slipstreaming is going to be crucial. Do you want to be leading going into that last corner?
Definitely not.
You don't, do you?
No.
And, you know, for a 13-year-old lad, you want to lead all the time, and that's going to be a mighty big decision for a young lad to make coming into that last corner. But
it would have been so nice seeing the final talk with Alberto Puig with these guys. I mean, you know, what do you tell when you mentor the whole grid and you tell each and every one of them, don't lead into the final corner?
Right, here we go. It's scorching hot here in Qatar. It's round 2 of the Asian Talent Cup. This is race 3 of the series. We have a race 4 tomorrow afternoon before MotoGP race-wise gets underway. Plenty of interest from a number of the youngsters who have come up through the Red Bull Rookies and the CEV Repsol Championship. This Asia Talent Cup, of course, is trying to replicate that and bring young riders from Asia into Grand Prix racing. Are we going to see a future Grand Prix star? Are we going to see a future world champion in action?
Well, 21 of them certainly hope so.
Yeah. Here we go then. 14 laps of the Losail International Circuit, and that looks like an absolute cracking start by Atarat Puvapat.
Well, yeah, looks like Sasaki didn't get away from the line quite so well. It's so key. No, excuse me, he did. He's up on the inside, but he cannot squeeze it up. We have Atarat Puvapat leading into turn 1.
Yeah, through turn 1, then they flick it left, as you see, through 2 and 3. Making a terrific start. As I say, he won race 2 in Thailand just over a week ago, but crashing out, of course, in the first race. And that meant Sasaki, with his 2 second places, leads the championship.
And we have Istihar, he's already up into second place, so ahead of Sasaki. Then we have the bike of Rostam, that's Fakhrusi Rostam, the number 17 machine, ahead of Kumine and the race 1 winner in Thailand, Chantra.
At the top end of the circuit, then down through the slowest bend. This is turn 6 at the Losail International Circuit.
And we have a crasher, Nick. We have a crasher. That slow turn 6. See, these guys don't use their tyres on the left so much, and it's unfortunately one of those hot spots.
Main thing is the rider is okay. We'd like to say we can check his leathers and check the bike.
No, we need to see the number for that one. Let's have a look. As we go through the second timing screen, it looks like no, we're not able to tell just yet. Once they get through the next split, we should be able to tell
I
you.
think Atarat Puvapat still leads the way, but I think it's the battle now for second place as they close up.
It's Edwards. It's number 8, Tom Edwards, the young Australian, the 13-year-old. We were talking about him, so unfortunate.
Yeah, and he's been mentored by Colin Stoner. Casey Stoner's dad.
Ah, right,
yeah,
okay,
so
okay.
That's been really unfortunate for the Australians here, because Lachlan Taylor not taking part in the race after damaging his finger.
But he'll have another chance tomorrow, and as we see, the number 23 bike, Andy Istihar, takes the lead.
Yeah, Istihar takes the lead as they come into the start and finish straight for the first time. Let's have a look now at the slipstreaming. Will they show their hands as we speak now? You've got to say, you get the feeling that Sasaki may just nip out of the slipstream as they race down towards turn 1. One lap completed.
He nipped out, but it was Atarat Puvapat who actually, well, I thought he was the one who was going to go into but it was actually the number 2 bike of Katsuki Masaki. Masaki, he was also mixing it up a lot in race 2 in Thailand.
So there we go, he leads the way. The Japanese rider now leads the way as they go through 2, up towards turn 3. Perfect but very hot conditions. We have another
crasher. Peng Yuan Cheng, the number 14 bike, the rider from China. Very, very unfortunate. But once again, we say good that walking away. And this looks like another. Oh no, this is Tom Edwards' earlier crash from turn 6. I actually believe that it was the same crash because we saw them disappear from the timing screens at the same time.
I think we're about to find out. This is the replay.
Oh no, sorry, this was Tom Edwards crashing by himself.
That is coming out of turn 6, isn't it? That's the slowest bend on the circuit.
It is the slowest bend on the circuit, and as we say, they're not on the left-hand side of their tyre very much. So if that's cooled down a little bit, it can be, you know, in any class, even up to MotoGP, it's a dangerous turn.
Yeah, so Masaki now leads the way from Sasaki. That's going to be a commentator.
Yes.
a nightmare, isn't it? But,
exactly.
That's as we stand at the moment. So 2 Japanese riders now lead the way. This is the second round of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. This is race 3 of the series. And it's the 2 Japanese riders that lead the way. Is it going to be a lead chase? Not quite.
And that was Sasaki just making a move up the inside of Istihar.
I'm just looking for the race winners from previously. Chantra, of course, who won the race 1 in Thailand. I'm just looking down the field to see where he's well placed as well.
Well, yeah, down in 7th place. As we know, these groups, they can be up to 10 strong. And that still doesn't mean that you're not going to win the race. I mean, look, let's have a look at the back of this group. Number 6, we have Yuta Date. He did incredibly well last season. Didn't quite show up so much in Thailand, but he's certainly also another force to be reckoned with. And here, let's look at this. The number 2 bike of Katsumi Masaki. He actually got onto the straight with a bit of a lead. So he's going to be working out now. Can these guys pass me if I lead by that much?
Yeah, and we're saying you don't want to be leading coming in on the last lap, but if you can have that sort of advantage as Sasaki tries to get up inside of him going into turn 1, but with that sort of advantage, bit of clear track, getting in really quick, you could just about hold it, but as you can see, Sasaki almost caught him.
Yes, but think of the finish line, Nick. He wasn't close. Exactly,
yeah.
He wasn't close at the finish line, but we just saw Atriad Puvapat running a little bit wide, but he managed to bring it back round again after turn 2. Now sitting in 4th place and up the inside for Sasaki.
So Sasaki now takes the lead. 2 second places in Thailand, nice and consistent. You know, then to start winning races, you'd say there's somebody emerging, perhaps as a bit of a favourite to win the championship. Very, very early days. There's 2 Japanese riders leading the way. The race winners, get his name right, Atirat Puvapat, of course, who won that second race in Thailand, now running comfortably in 5th place. And Chantra, who won that first race, running in 8th.
No.
Another faller, two people.
So look, we saw
more and more.
McKinley Pass from Thailand. We saw someone obviously looked like they were trying to remount.
That's down at turn 6 again.
I think so. So I don't know whether Tom managed to remount, but he looked like he was walking away. So we don't know if that was a separate incident there with the number 5 bike of McKinley Paz from the Philippines.
There's the 14-year-old Ayumu Sasaki from Japan who leads the way, and he leads the championship. This race has got a long, long way to go. We're just over 2.5 laps in.
And while we saw that, we had Takuma Kunimine slip up into 2nd place ahead of Sasaki. So we've got the 3 Japanese riders now at the front, being shadowed by number 13, Atirat Puvapat.
Probably as nobody's breaking away, as you wouldn't expect them to do. If you can be a little bit patient, that's surely got a way to do things, because they're only ending their 3rd lap. Now look at this slipstream down this long straight, well over 1,000 metres long, absolutely flat out. Now on the brakes, down through the gearbox. Who's first in the turn 1?
It is Sasaki. Sasaki holds his nerves, because look at this, Nick, they're slipstream, but they don't quite have the grunt to go past completely, so it's a lot to do with who's bravest on the brakes as well.
So Sasaki leads away from Masaki, up through 2 and 3, up towards the far end of the circuit. On a MotoGP bike it might be almost double apex 4 and 5. On one of these machines, not quite the same.
Not quite.
Definitely 2 corners, isn't it?
Oh, certainly 2 corners on these bikes. But leading into the turn number 6, this is where these guys have to be so careful. As you can see, it's got some good banking, but it is so tight. You're really relying an awful lot on the engine brake there, but you also need to be on the gas as soon as possible as you come up to turn number 7. Turn number 7 heading into it looks a bit like turn 4, but it actually comes around a lot quicker.
Group of 9, really, I'd say. There's a little bit of a gap that's opened up, so a group of 9 and any one of those 9 riders certainly very capable of winning this race. The man in 3rd place, Atarat Puvapat, of course, showed how capable he was by winning in Thailand.
And we just saw Somikat Chantra, the winner of race 1 in Thailand. He has just set the fastest lap of the race, currently sitting down in 8th place.
Tip it into this series of right-handers at the top end of the circuit. Japanese riders lead the way at the moment, but don't rule out Atarat Puvapat. Of course, the Thai rider won that 2nd race in Thailand. This could go any way, so I can just hold on.
Such a tight group all the way down to Yuta Date in 9th place. So we have 9 riders that essentially could still win this race. 11 laps to go. They're coming down into the final turn once again. We have to keep an eye out on that slipstream. The number 13 rider, Atarat Puvapat, tried to go up the inside, not quite there, but he's now going to squeeze onto the back of the number 2, bike of Katsuki Masaki.
Yeah, and let's have a look at Masaki. He probably will slipstream.
Masaki pulled out very early there. He's testing, can I get to the line if I pull out early enough? That's what he was looking out for, so I don't think he was thinking too much with there. The number 21 bike
coming in, suddenly come through on the inside at turn 1. Well, there was some great racing in Thailand, and this is equally as close. This could go absolutely anyway. It's now the Thai rider, Atarat Puvapat, 19 years old. He's a veteran, isn't he?
Yeah,
that sort of way.
an old boy,
class, yeah, who won that 2nd race in Thailand and now leads the way.
Yes, but we have the number 22 bike of Sasaki. He's stalking him as they head around the fast turn number 4. Down into number 5. Will anyone dare pass coming into number 6? That's a good passing point on the brakes.
Well, we've seen problems there for a number of the riders a bit further back, but we've seen 3 or 4 riders go down at turn 6. Here it is coming up now. It is the slowest bend on this circuit.
And they've just come out heading down into turn number 7. Very difficult place to get past because it really pulls round. You've got to hold a tight line as you come out. Then you flick it down to the left in turn 8, back around to the right for turn 9. Incredibly fast, technical section, but tough to pass. And then into turn 10. Again, another tight one. You've got to be careful on the left-hand side of the tyre. You haven't used it much, but now you're accelerating hard on the gas in turn 11. An incredibly fun corner there. With the GP bikes, they get over 200 kilometres an hour.
They come down. It's a session of right-handers. There's 3 right-handers. It is the 3rd split time in the middle of the first of these right-handers.
And there we just saw the number 13 by Atarat Puvapat once again going back up into 4th place. Second place. Second place.
Through the last of the right-handers, though, into the final left. It's pretty tight, so it's so important and so interesting to see how they come out of the last bend on every lap, really, because clever riders will be planning what they're going to do when it comes to the last lap of the race.
Well, exactly, and I think I'm going to say one clever rider, Yuta Date, he's in 9th place. He's sitting about 3 bike lengths behind this group. He's not getting mixed up. He might be conserving his tyres, sitting in the back, checking out exactly what everyone is doing. Look at this. Atarat Puvapat right on the outside. He's either not wanting to be slipstream or just checking how much gas he's got, but leading.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 abreast into turn 1, but Sasaki still just leads the way into turn 1. There is still 9 laps to go here.
But he was passed on exit. Bike number 23, Istihar. Istihar's taken the lead coming into turn 3. Very fast turn 3, out leading up to turn 4.
And that's the first time we've really mentioned Istihar, isn't it?
Well,
so they're just biding their time and coming when they got to come.
Well, exactly. He's been hovering around there. And also right now, Fakrusi Rostam now in 3rd place. So these guys now showing their cards, showing their hand.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 riders there actually could have taken the lead down into turn 1.
Exactly. You just see the number 21 bike, Kunimine being swallowed up there a little bit heading into turn 1 because you don't want to be too far on the inside. Many guys try to pass on the inside, but you want that outside line for momentum. These bikes need momentum.
But now it's Masaki that leads the way. If you blink, it would change at the front. And as we say it in Moto 3, all this scrapping, it's hard for these youngsters to keep calm. But you know and I know this is going to go down to the last lap and probably the last bend, isn't it?
Last bend. I think the key is these guys need to start They need to start thinking about this, I think, at least heading into turn 10, because from that point, they are fast corners, especially on these bikes. After turn 10, these are all corners where you need to just keep the throttle open, not set a foot wrong, because if you do, then you've lost the momentum and you cannot keep up into the final turn 16.
When you were 13, could you keep that calm and think? I've just got to think about the last minute when you're involved in a battle like these. Are talented guys, of that there is no doubt. Here they come down into turn 60, trying to get the inside is Rostam.
Yeah, we just saw Rostam and he made the move stick, so he's now up into third place, managed to squeeze past the number 22 bike of Ayumu Sasaki.
Sasaki's very good down here though, isn't he? He's good into turn 1. That doesn't mean with the start and finish, the finish line a lot further back, that will happen in the race, but he's good here. Let's have a look. Rostam is there. Now coming up the inside also is coming with now. And we have
a crash. We have a crash, that's number 17, that looks like Fakrusi Rostam. Could not see the other bike there. That was clearly a touch going into the brakes. It's, yeah, when they come up, when they are so close, these things can happen. That's the number...
Yeah, it is Rostam. That's certainly one of them. Another rider down. Both of them walking away. One trying to get back in the race. Oh, it's Asman as well.
Helmi Asman, he's been in that group there, been a little bit off the radar, I think, to us. He's been mixing it up.
Here we go. Yeah. It's actually hardly in the corner, isn't it? It's under braking.
It's under braking. You could see his rear wheel came up. Look, his rear wheel came up, touched the back of the... That's very unfortunate for both riders. We know Asman obviously had no malice whatsoever, but Rostam just didn't stand a chance.
I think that's 7 now in that leading group. Let's have a look at it behind. Yeah, that back wheel comes right off the ground as he brakes for turn 1. Yeah. Takes the other unfortunate rider out. Both walking away.
And good to see that the riders behind didn't get caught up in that and still managed to get round the corner okay.
That would please Alberto Bridge as well. Want to try and get back in the race. Back at the front. Munine leads the way. For how long? Not very long indeed.
Sasaki gets past him. That looks like he was heading into turn number 4, Nick. That looks like now coming round into turn 5. No, excuse me, we're at the other part of the track. That is turn number 14 now.
This is coming down to 15, isn't it?
Yes,
that last of the lefts.
Last of the left-handers, and now that's such important drive down into the final turn. They have to weigh each other up here already. And is this another crasher?
I'm not sure it was another crasher, or has he actually given up on trying to restart the bike? I get a feeling that may well be the case. Right, onto the start and finish straight. Sasaki leads the way, but for how long? Look out for Atirat Puvapat. He's looking threatening as they race down towards turn 1. There is 7 laps remaining, half distance.
Well, yeah, we have Istihar, but it was...
Yeah, they were the same riders, and obviously that was just annoyance, trying to get back in the race, and a kick out at the gravel because the bike was obviously too badly damaged. Masaki now back in front.
Saki back in front, leading ahead of Masaki and Istihar as well. Then we have the number 2 bike, of Masaki. He's now slipped into the lead. The number 23 bike of Istihar at the back. Now it's a bit of a group of 4 at the front now, Nick.
Yeah, obviously it was cut down with the crash. I think it was 9 at one time, 2 crashed out, that was 7. And I think they probably, these 4 have just dropped the others behind. Let's have a look.
Well, we have Atirat Puvapat and Yuta Date at the back. We also now have Chantra as well. So those 3, clearly their momentum cut a little bit through that crash.
With the crash.
Exactly, having to avoid it.
In these situations, that can be absolutely crucial, can't it? It can be the break that these 4 at the front need.
Their blessing in disguise, they have 7 laps to go. I think these guys, with their momentum, they just need to try and get back onto the back end of those guys, but it's going to be a group of 7 to the end. They've now dropped off. Now if you look, number 8, they are now 6. Adam Noradin in 8th place, he's leading the other group. They are about 6 seconds behind, so I think it would take an awful lot for those guys to catch up to the lead.
Diving inside, Kimani now leads the other way from Masaki and Sasaki. Now Sasaki, of course, has already had 2 second places. I'm sure he's not thinking this, but you keep knocking in those second places, you are going to win this championship, aren't you?
Do you know what? Look at Moto3. A lot of those guys who have won championships, even in 125s, they've had more second places than they've had wins. It's consistency. But if we look at the back there, who is being dropped off? It looks like, it possibly looks like Chantra being, no, sorry, it was not Chantra being dropped off. It looks like Utadate at the back, the number 6 bike. We thought he was biding his time, but...
One of 6, I think, don't you, now, by the look of things. Have a look when they come down towards turn 1. There is 6 laps remaining. Let's see who's going to... on the brakes they come. Kumine. No, sorry, not Kumine. Izdihar now takes the lead into turn 1.
But we have the number 22 bike of Sasaki. He's very, very close. Looks like he's going to try and take a tighter line through turn number 2. Is that going to help him as they go over to the left, prepare for turn number 3? No, Izdihar keeps his calm.
Up towards 3 and 4. We're at well over half distance now. I think it's mighty hard work out there in these conditions. It's the 17-year-old Indonesian Andy Izdihar that leads the way.
Yeah, and Utadate there, we can just see he's just being dropped off ever so slightly, about a second and a half behind. He must be struggling a little bit unless he's conserving something and can fight back to the end. But as we say, Nick, you've just got to keep the momentum. You've got to try and stick with this group, because at the back of this group we have Takuma Kuminime. He might be the one. He might be the one who's just weighing everyone up.
Right, Chantra has just set the fastest lap of the race as well, and he knows all about winning races as he did in Thailand. So it's a right old lottery, let's be honest, and it's providing tremendous racing and enormous experience for these youngsters. Sometimes we forget just how young they are, though.
Well, exactly. You know, you imagine these guys now, they would have raced on the same circuit as their heroes in World Superbike. Yeah. Now they are riding on the same track as the likes of Marc Marquez, Valentino Rossi, Jorge Lorenzo. I mean, what must be going through your head? Although I'm sure at this moment they're not thinking about that, they're just looking at the bike ahead.
So, Izdihar still leads.
We've just seen the number 23 bike there. That was Sasaki. No, excuse me. Izdihar went off onto the AstroTurf. Can be quite slippery. So great composure there to stay in the lead.
Yeah, still some of the advantage from Sasaki. As we reminded you, he is leading the championship with those 2 second places, but his countryman Sasaki also looking dangerous into turn 16, and they come down the long start and finish straight, and they cross the line. Just see what a long run to the line it is, though. They've still got a long, long way to go. You'll see the finishing line any moment now, and there will be 5 laps to go.
Well, look at this, 3 abreast. That would have been a photo finish. Look at that. We had Izdihar, Masaki and Sasaki all crossing the line pretty much at the same time. They are now starting to get in their practice runs. They have only 5 laps left to go.
Tremendous stuff, as we expected. We watched the race in Thailand, both races in Thailand. Pugapat now leads the way, the 19-year-old from Thailand who won that second race just a week ago. He now leads the way, but so many riders have taken the lead that it's just not letting people get away, trying to remain calm, running in that leading group, and perhaps trying to work out a little bit of strategy. It's not easy with the bike so evenly matched, obviously, to work out a strategy.
No, of course, although the one person who did his homework early on was Masaki. If you remember, Nick, he led into turn 1 by about, I think it was about 5 bike lengths, and he did manage to cross the start-finish line, leading the other group. So I think these guys know what they need to do. Now it's just a case of how long do you stick with the group? When can you try and pull away?
4.5 laps to go. This is the 3rd race of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup Series. This is round 2 of the series. We're at the Losail International Circuit here in Qatar. It's a glorious afternoon. Sun burning down. Glorious for us in the country, but not perhaps for the easy loads out there.
Very difficult for those guys. Let me see him move on the outside. Achiran Pugapat now no longer in the lead. He's been taken over by by Sasaki, the number 22.
You can't pick out a winner, can you?
No.
It's absolutely impossible. And this, of course, what this series is all about. Through turn 15, the left, Sasaki still just leads away, but they're very, very close. It's crucial here, isn't it, to get good drive out of this final corner. If you don't, you're done for.
Oh, exactly. You know, with these bikes, as we know, they don't have high horsepower. They're probably sat around 60-odd horsepower, Nick. And if these guys lose momentum, if there's any kind of mistake in those final turns, they cannot make up any kind of speed on horsepower. But of course, that's the other tactic. Try and maybe, if you've got someone, can you upset them? You know, if you go up the inside, as long as you keep your momentum and break the other person's, that could be another way of winning this race. But look how close they're crossing the finish line here.
Yeah, 4 laps to go. It looks like Sasaki is almost ridden Jorge Lorenzo style round the outside into turn 1. now he leads the way.
Well, I know at some of these selection events, they all come along wearing the helmets of their favourite riders. You know, you've got Mini Lorenzo's, Mini Marquez's, Mini Rossi's there.
Well, I wonder if there's a new Marc Marquez in there. He probably wouldn't be this patient, actually.
No,
no.
No. I mean, look, it would be great to see some riders coming through from that part of the world.
It's absolutely crucial, and that this is what the series is all about. We've seen it from the Red Bull rookies, we've seen it from the CEV Repsol Championship, and now this is exactly what they're doing. It's such a vast area, so much untapped talent, so important for motorcycle manufacturers. This is what this championship is all about. And out on the track, they're putting up a fantastic show for us.
Well, exactly. We just saw it there. It was Andy Izdihar. He popped himself up into 5th place. He was leading the race for a while. Arguably now he's saying, look, now I need to be up at least with the top 3. You never know. The number 2 bike, Masaki, was he going to get up around the outside? No, he wasn't. He stays in 3rd place as they come around this very fast left-hander turn, number 11. You see those guys, they cannot pass there. You need so much momentum. And even going in to turn at number 12, it's just pulling you round. It sometimes looks slower than it is, but you've got these 3 fast right-handers. You stay in gear, you feather it round on the throttle. It's only turn number 14, which then actually pulls you round a little bit more. You need to be a little bit cautious not to run off, and also now position yourself for that final left-hander.
That's exactly what they're doing, and you've got to say Atarat Puvapart, very, very close indeed. Let's see now. This is crucial. If it's the last lap, close your eyes, because this is going to be frantic. They're into this, well, not particularly fast run, and you've got to get good drive out of here. And now the long run to the line. This is a dress rehearsal. When they do cross the line, there'll be 3 laps to go. Round 2, the 3rd race of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Who's first down into turn 1?
Well, the man leading down into turn 1 is... I was about to say Sasaki, but it was actually number 13, Atripat Uvapat. And the man to always pull out of the... Oh, here we have one of the back markers. Who is that number? No, that looked like Tom Edwards. It looked like he managed to remount.
That must have got back on.
Yes.
He doesn't want to get involved in this.
No, not at all. No.
Anyway.
But you know what? Fantastic resilience to see getting back on the bike there, because yes, he can't win. He's not going to get any points, but this is all about experience.
So Atarat Puvapart leads away. He won that 2nd race in Thailand. He's 2nd place, of course, in the World Championship. Let's remind him, a great rival out there. Sasaki does lead the championship.
Exactly, he's leading, so now we have that 1-2. With this race win here, that can change the points round, because I believe there's only 4 points between them in the championship standings.
Up at the far end of the circuit, we have 2.5 laps to go.
Down into turn 8, now they flick it right into turn 9, slight little dip in the track there, coming up to the slow left-hander turn number 10 that opens up into the very fast left-hander. Also key to get good drive coming out of this turn.
I love this left-hander.
Ah, it's amazing, it's amazing.
Fabulous corner,
so
you've got to get sorted, because you've got now 3 right-handers coming up.
Oh, look at this, we haven't seen much of this. Round the outside in turn 11, going into turn 12. That's a very brave move. That's an incredibly fast part of the track there from Sasaki.
This is almost if he's not trying to rough him up, but unsettle him a little bit by overtaking there. We're not just going to wait going down into turn 1. Let's get the gloves off and have a bit of a go here.
Exactly. He's saying I can lead into this turn, regardless of whether I'm 1st or 2nd into the preceding turn number 10.
Very intelligent rider by the guy that finished 2nd in both those opening 2 races. So, it's Sasaki that leads the way to turn 16. Long run to the line, as we say. When they do cross that line, 2 laps remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, certainly 3 of just breaking away a little bit at the front. Is that going to be the point? What about the 3 behind? And who's going to be first down into turn 1?
But look at this, Masaki, he always pulls out early and he always crosses the line in 2nd place. We have Sasaki, Masaki and Atriat Puvapat, but who's going to lead going into turn number 2? It looks like Masaki's going to have to change his tactics slightly if he's going to be first at the line.
Yeah, Istihar actually now leads the way, doesn't he, through turn 3. Tactics, I really do wonder at this pace and such a frenzied race and their real lack of experience at riding at this level. Do they have a plan, or are they just going for it? I honestly get a feeling that Sasaki, out of all of them, has probably got a bit more of a plan than anybody else.
Maybe he does, and I think this is one thing which I'm sure Alberto Puig is going to be looking at so much, not just the guy's speed, but how are they learning throughout the race. That's one thing which these top riders do. You look at the likes of Marquez, they weigh people up during the race, they soak up the information like a sponge, and that's what counts so much at the end.
Halfway through the lap, there's 1.5 laps remaining of this Losail International Circuit here in Qatar. 6 riders could win this race. You'd be a brave man to actually pick out the one you think's going to do it.
Well, exactly. The last race winner, Atirat Puvapat, he's now looked like he was going to try and squeeze up the inside with Istihar, did not quite make it. But now look at this, number 22, Sasaki. Is he going to try and pull a lead? Is he going to be able to keep it?
Is he trying to open up a little bit of an advantage?
I think he is. I think he is up the inside. Number 23, Istihar, slips into 2nd place.
And I'll tell you what these lads won't do. They won't stop scrapping. And that might just give him a chance to get away at the front. I don't think he's probably going to do it.
Look, already closed up. They've already closed up. That was Istihar saying, you are not getting away from me. But look at that. The number 2, Masaki's making it so tough for Atirat Puvapat to pass him.
So here we go. Into turn 16, into the long start and finish straight.
Ah, look at that. Atirat Puvapat makes his move on Masaki. He's made it stick, but who's going to win the drag to the line?
You could, well, look at that. You could lay a credit card over them, couldn't you? And here we go, over the start-finish line. 1 lap to go here in Qatar. It's the 3rd race in the 2015 Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup.
So tight, so tight. And it was Istihar who managed to muscle his way past Atirat Puvapat. So Sasaki leading, Masaki in 2nd.
Masaki's kept out of trouble as well, hasn't he?
He has, and you know what? And he's been weighing people up a lot more down the start-finish straight. He's been either sticking with the slipstream, coming out at different positions. So I think he's the one who's done his homework best when he's coming onto that start-finish straight.
It's now or never, lads. There's just over half the lap to go. Round 2 of the championship, round 3 in the actual championship. 1 more race tomorrow afternoon.
Atirat Puvapat up the inside in turn number 6. Only manages to go up into 5th.
Of course, you know, a move like that, you can mess other people up as well.
Yes.
It
can
certainly give somebody an advantage. So half a lap to go.
Round turn 7. Oh, slightly unsettled there from Masaki as they flick it into turn 8. Now down right into turn number 9, this sweeping corner into turn number 10. Is he going to make a move? He's making a move. Masaki on Sasaki. He's made it stick, but we've seen Sasaki pass at the end of this very fast turn number 11. Is the Japanese rider going to try and do the same on his compatriot once more? It does look like it, Nick.
Sasaki leads away, here he comes into the right-hander, this time up the inside Sasaki to take the lead. The succession of right-handers, there's now Sasaki, a championship leader that leads us away. Masaki right behind him through the 3rd of the right-handers that come down now to the final left on the circuit, and then the all-important final corner.
And now Chantra's gone up into 3rd. We haven't seen much of Chantra. Now he's showing his cards. The drive down to the final turn. Sasaki, has he pulled away sufficiently?
That's not big enough. That's not a big enough lead. Into turn 16.
No, I think Masaki's going to take it. He's in 2nd place. Just don't miss a gear. Keep your head down. Do not pull out too early.
So here we go. Checkered flag is being readied. Has he done enough?
Oh, Sasaki's unsettled him.
And crossing the line.
It's
Kamini leads the way.
It's Junimine who's won the race
by 3,000ths of a second. I think the other 2 Japanese actually touched.
They got in their way. Masaki should have gone it, but Sasaki pushed him out. Let's see Utadate in 7th place.
Chantra in 2nd place. Didn't see a lot of him, but very important points. But
I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming, Nick. Fantastic win for Kunimine, winning there by 0.03 seconds. That's 300th of a second ahead of Chantra. Chantra will be pleased with that. He will be very pleased after falling out of the of race number 2 in Thailand. Yeah. But what a last lap, Nick. What a last lap.
Superb. Well, I think they just touched. They came to the line and he took full advantage. So we have another race winner, which is great. We've had 3 races, 3 different winners, and another nationality, a Japanese rider.
And look at this, Sasaki, the number 22. We have Masaki, the number 2. Masaki would have done it, but Sasaki just tried to budge him out the way. Look, he's pulling over, and that leaves the door wide open for Kunimine.
Well done, the Japanese rider. Kunimine, 16 years old, currently 6th at the championship. That one would imagine will change now. Fabulous race. We enjoyed the race at the time. Let's have a look again. Oh, that is shoulder to shoulder, they'd say, the football referee, I think.
No, exactly. But you know what? Clever riding there. Clever riding from Kunimine. Look at this. He just kept his nerve. He saw that Masaki was going out to the left. He said, I'm going to stick there behind Sasaki and just pull out that little bit later. Let those two scrap it out.
Oh, we need a break.
Yeah, we do.
These poor guys have been out there riding.
When does qualifying start? I hope we got time for a coffee and a sit down. Yeah. But look, so I mean, you would really hope that these guys are going to get some good praise from Alberto Puig, because I think they put in a spectacular race in these baking hot conditions. They went shoulder to shoulder, and you know, sizing each other up. You know, towards the end, yes, we did lose a couple unfortunate crashes, but it was a group 6 rider strong, and at a track that's so long and so flowing, to stick together like that, I think is fantastic.
So here they are, a little bit more sedate pace into turn 16 this time round, and I think a few, well, Sasaki and Masaki will be thinking...
Masaki's going to be the most disappointing.
He is. I'm perhaps going to run that, but he just took full advantage. There we go, 16 years old, and back down now into Park Ferme.
Well, here we have, look at the red flag. The man just stood behind it. That is Alberto Puig. It'll be interesting to see his reaction, what he says to the riders. I'm sure he's going to be very, very pleased with them.
I'll tell you, that was a cracking race. Don't forget, tomorrow Matt will be here, Matt Burt, with Dylan for race 4 of in this second round of the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. If it was as good as this one, you are in
I seriously
an
hope so.
absolute cracker.
I can't see it going any other way.
I can't either. Here he is. He's 19 years old. He has won 16 years old. He has won his first race in the series.
Yeah, and the number 18 bike there coming in. Somkiat Chantra. Well, after that disappointing crash in race 2 in Thailand, it's going to be so good for him, especially for his confidence thing, to put in a good race, no touches, keep you calm. And there, the number 22, Sasaki.
Who surely, though we haven't got the points in front of us, will still be leading that world championship.
He's going to be leading, Nick, but I mean, he doesn't look elated. I'm sure there's going to be a bit of disappointment there.
Yeah.
You know, he was first coming onto that back straight. He tried to put out a lead. Alberto Puig giving him a tap on the back. They're saying good job, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. You know, there's nothing else you can do when a guy slipstreams you. You've got to try and unsettle him. But then it's that third guy who's gonna pass. Ah, look at that. He's not super happy, saying next time round. But you know what? Winners are like this. Anyone who's really happy with the third place, you know, they might be saying at such a younger age, you know, they don't want you to be happy with third.
No,
they want someone who's so annoyed that he hasn't won.
I tell you, Alberto Puig definitely doesn't want anyone who's happy with third place, that I can promise you. But well done to all the lads. That was a fantastic race. Just the crowd are beginning to come into the circuit. Now, obviously, they're waiting for the sun to go down and the floodlights to come on before qualifying for MotoGP.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if you're listening, come early, because I tell you, you will.
Yes.
It is racing of the highest quality.
Well, exactly. Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup race, then all the warm-ups, and then all the main races. So busy day if you're a rider and a commentator or fan.
No, that's true. Now, you know, we said at the beginning of the program, are we watching future Grand Prix riders in action? I think after seeing that, we certainly are.
They've proven us that they are, Nick. If you can race at that caliber, you know, it's especially these top 6. And one thing that we maybe haven't spoken of is, you know, what's the path for these guys? You know, we know Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. We know that there are some other feeder series in that part.
And I think some have gone on to the Red Bull Rookies this year. Haven't they?
Exactly.
Series.
Exactly. They then go to the Red Bull Rookies. Someone who's maybe a real talent. Ah, here we go. That's great. That is absolutely fantastic. That was Lachlan Taylor there, the youngster who broke his finger, went to congratulate the podium sitter. It's great to see that camaraderie there. And I think they do have a big camaraderie because they train together, they always travel together.
It's like a big school party, isn't it?
Yes,
They're staying in our hotel, aren't they?
Yes.
And I was 13 or 14 or 15. I was looking to where I could get the booze out the fridge and that sort of thing. Not worried about.
Nick, you're supposed to set an example here.
I know, but these guys these are different. Coming in and then leads the way from Chantra, an important race for him. Sasaki, I'm sure, still leads the world champion. Sasaki, a little bit unlucky, wasn't it? Is Dahar, well, there he is, down in 4th place.
Well, yeah, let's look at the final 7. Obviously, a few crashes there. Kaita Fusei, Jerry Suleiman 11th, Ayogura in 12th, Adam Noureddin in 13th, Yuan Hang Chen in 14th, Ryusai, excuse me, that just went there, Yamananka. And then out we had, Helmi Yasman, Peng Yong Chen and McKinley Paz on the crashes there. So, yes, unfortunate for the crashes, but they do have another chance there tomorrow.
So the podium beckons. The floodlights are already on. I'll tell you, just looking out of our commentary box window, you don't need the floodlights on at the moment. The sun is burning down. And there we go. Sasaki leads the championship. He has actually increased that lead in the championship to now to 10 points from Atirat Puvapat in 2nd place, Chantra in 3rd. So 2 race winners. They're actually in 2nd, 3rd place at the moment. And Mr. Consistency, Sasaki, leads the way after 3 races.
Exactly, and Kunimine, excuse me, with that race win, has jumped up 2 places and is now on equal points with Chantra. He's now in 4th. One who's obviously dropped a little bit down was Rostam. Real shame for the Malaysian, considering he was fighting up there, you know, with the leading group, but was involved in that unfortunate crash going down into turn 1.
So we wait for the podium ceremony. An amazing circuit this, and such a test for these riders. They rode in Thailand last week, obviously a circuit that's new to everybody. And they come here at a Grand Prix circuit. They go to Zhuhai, don't they, in China?
Yes,
then they ride in Sepang. I mean, very different circuits, and always part of your education.
And always very hot places. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be.
Well, I suppose coming from this part of the world, it's going to be hot places.
Yeah, exactly.
So the riders now waiting to go up on the rostrum.
Into 2nd place, rider from Thailand, number 18, Somkiat Chantra.
There's Chantra in 2nd place.
But the rider who came from nowhere in that top 6 and got the drafting right, he took the victory. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, number 21 from Japan, Takuma Kunimine.
16 years old, he got the drafting right, and he took full advantage of others. Clashing is the word, perhaps not quite clashing, but touching as they approach the start and finish line.
That's what these guys are looking for.
So now it's going to be the Japanese national anthem.
Yes.
And
we
the
have
trophy
3rd place getting his trophy there. That is Sasaki, looking a little bit dejected, but you know he's got another chance.
He's increased that lead in the championship.
He's increased it exactly.
So he doesn't need to feel dejected.
He's got to remember those points.
But the victory, as we say, a dramatic victory, literally on the last turn and down the straight. Ladies and gentlemen, to present the trophy, the QMMF President and FIM Vice President, Mr. Nasser Khalifi Al Attiyah. The winner's trophy goes to Takuma Kunimine.
Fantastic job there from the young Japanese rider. So pleased. His first victory
for
this
our winner
season.
from Japan. So for the last time for race 1 in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup, Ayuma Sasaki, Somkiat Chantra, and our winner, Takuma Kunimine.
We haven't heard the Japanese national anthem, have we? Ringing out over a Grand Prix paddock for a fair time from the podium. And of course, this is what this championship is all about, finding new talent. I'd say especially from Japan.
Well, And I think it's fair to say that we're going to be hearing that, certainly in a few years' time, if they make that trip through the rookies, maybe even through the International CEV Repsol, and then up into Moto3. We've seen some fantastic racing, some fantastic riding. These riders, they are quick, Nick.
I don't think we ever doubted that. They are quick and they're learning fast. These are lads that, you know, have very, very little experience of riding, well, no real experience of riding at this level. And to see the way they tackled, certainly that long start and finish straight, the long run to the line and a few mistakes on the way, it just shows already what they have learned and what the championship is going to be all about.
So they all got off to a good start leading into the first corner. It was Atirat Puvapat, the Thai rider, but it was Sasaki who was close on his heels and managed to pip him going into turn number 2.
Just looking back at it, it's quite interesting because you just realise how close it was always going to be.
Well, exactly. It was very, very unfortunate for Edwards very early on in the race. He crashed out, but he did manage to remount afterwards.
Yeah, it was going to be a battle at the front. Sasaki involved, obviously. Mr. Hart involved. Race winner in Thailand. Atirat Puvavat also there. There was a bunch of 9 riders in the early stages that were contesting the lead.
Well, exactly. It was so close up at the front. We had Masaki leading for quite a long time, but we had this unfortunate crash as well between Asman and Rostam, the two countrymen. They're taking each other out, both uninjured.
I tell you, we didn't see a massive amount of at this stage. Is the race winner.
We did not see Kulimine, no, he was holding it.
Sensible he was.
It was Sasaki was really fighting up there. He was leading almost right until the end. We thought it was Sasaki versus Masaki, the 22 bike versus the number 2.
Lead constantly swapping. We knew, they knew, everybody knew it was going to go right down until that